Right. So we'll talk about Microsoft Forms first, and then we will talk about Google Forms. Now, if you have to use this option of Microsoft Forms, you have to go to Microsoft Office. I have a paid account, so I'm repeating again. So in Microsoft Office, you get all these benefits. And you also, if you have a school account, you can also go for Microsoft Teams over there. I have this account and I have Microsoft Forms over here, which allows me to create surveys, quizzes, polls, and results. You also have a Microsoft Forms app. So in case you want to use an app for it, you can just sit at home, you can create a test and send it to your students. But yes, if you're using subjects like mathematics in which you have to write formulae, it can be a bit of a task. You have to make sure the fonts are available for doing the task. Now we will try and create a form in Microsoft, and I will actually show you a form which is already there. It will give you a better idea. Before we start with the Microsoft form thing, I would like to know from all of you that how much we will like to have a polling done by all of you, and that is, please tell me if you have used any of the forms in past. So there's a poll I'm actually launching. I want to have a feedback that the audience I'm dealing with, how much they have used it. So which platform have you used more, Google Forms or Microsoft Forms? I just want to have an estimate so that we have fair idea that what we are dealing with right now. So I can see that most of you are more equipped with Google Forms, and it's my favorite also due to many reasons. And we can see like 78% have voted for Google Forms, and 22% have voted for Microsoft Forms. And maybe there are certain people who have not used Forms at all. So there can be, is a probability. Fine. So we start with Microsoft Forms first. In case of Microsoft Forms, I tried and I created this small format, as you can see over here. In this, you can see we have a question and a response section. Now, where do we find it? When you go to forms, there's an option of new form and new quiz. Now, if you want to take a feedback from your parents, from your students, you go ahead and add this new form. But if you're planning to create a test and assessment, you go to new quiz. Now, this is a new quiz that you will get. Now, in this new quiz, you have an option of various options will come up. The first thing is you have to name your quiz. For instance, I am planning to take a science test. So I have a science weekly assessment that I'm planning to do. So I make a note over here. Then I can make write my chapter name also over here, electricity. Physics is not my part, this came randomly. Okay, so I'm planning to do this thing that I want to talk about science assessment, and then fine. So now we have this science weekly assessment, and then we have this electricity chapter that we want to create a form of. So it's very easy. You just write the name, it is saved. It's automatically saved in the system. So don't worry about Control S again and again or Command S if you're using a MacBook. It will get automatically saved. In case you want to upload a photo, you want to upload a theme of yourself, you can go ahead and do it. I'm not doing it right now. Now, I want to give a description of this test, that what type of test it is for my students. So you can write a description for instance, you have to give some instructions to students. So you can ask them to make sure, like I can give some notes that make sure to hit submit button. So if they're not clicking the submit button, at last, they will miss this test. So plus you can add some more instructions to it. Make sure you have studied your notes properly before you start attempting this test. You can make them time bound also in case they're time bound. So you have to be, so students are bound to finish it on time, and you have to tell them before that it's not this, they can just enter and start with the test and finish it at any time. They have to finish it in the prescribed timing given to them. So this is one way, and you can give your instructions over here. The next thing is we have to give questions to our students. So when we start with questions, we have this option of, I can give a multiple choice question. I can give a text-based question. I can ask for a rating, and you can also mention the date. You can also mention there's certain things you can mention. For instance, you want to keep a note of that when this test was taken or when this test was, you want to make a specific date to this test, you add this date section. I usually ignore it because everything gets converted into an Excel file and you get all the details in that Excel file as well. Now, for instance, I will start and try each of these options so you are pretty clear about it. This first option is choice, multiple choice. Now you see the beautiful part that you have this question, are you enjoying the session? If I am actually saying, you can answer no if you're not. It's a democratic country. So if you have this option, it says, it is giving me suggestions also. I can write a yes, I can write a no, I can write a maybe, so I can write add all. So it gives me a liberty to actually mention my options myself. Also, I can go ahead and I can add one more option, want to. I'm not enjoying, but I want to enjoy this session. Now, this has given me this liberty. Now you see this tick marks over here, these over here. Now, supposingly, are you enjoying this session? And the answer is yes. And I want to make sure that I'm a very lazy fellow. See, I'm a very lazy teacher. I don't want to check papers. So I want Microsoft to check papers for me and give me the results finally. So what I will do is, I will pre-mark all the answers over here. So I can mark this answer as yes. So this is the correct answer. So in case the students pick up this answer, Microsoft will automatically give the child a particular marks that can be, so that it's usually out of 100. You can create your own scores also if you want to. So it will again automatically check it and you will get this thing in the responses later. So this, I'm creating this assessment and you can see that I'm already getting the name over here. Now, again, getting back to this question only, it gives me an option of this. So now, if supposingly someone clicks on this answer and this is the correct option, I can write very good. Try the next one. Or very good, or keep it up. So that's the answer. Now, I can also, if I want, I'm a more of a dedicated teacher and I want to suggest them if something, if they're marking the wrong answer. For instance, it happens in competitive exams. When you're preparing for a CAT exam or you're preparing for a JEE exam, when you're marking the wrong answer, it has some theory, it has some suggestion related to it. And if you want to suggest that thing to your students, you can also mention the feedback over here. So it's your own personal wish, how much dedication you want to give to your class in that particular context. So this is one thing you can do. And I have created this question and I add new. So this question is ready. And if you think that something is missing, you want to correct it back again, you go back and you start writing. So it's not a difficult thing for editing. You will not find any editing option over here. You just click it and you can edit it. Now, there's an option of multiple answers and required. Now, if I want my student to make sure that they don't miss any question and they go forward only after attempting this question, you click this option of required. So if you make this option compulsory, that this required option they have to go forward, they cannot proceed without marking this, finishing this question. They have to attempt this question. Now, also, if I want that this question can have more than one answer, I mark it as multiple answers. So over here, you can see the option changes into check boxes. They can have more than one correct answer. So I make it yes and I make it want to. So now I can have more than one correct answer for the same option. I hope you're getting it for now. Do we have any doubts? I think things are going fine. I don't see any messages in the chat section. So good. That's nice. Okay. So now we have some doubts, I think so. Okay, fine. So, okay, now let us move ahead. See, I'm getting a lot many messages from certain teachers that other people want to join up, they're unable to join. Please try and understand this session is recorded. Somebody who wants to learn can follow the YouTube link and learn later. Those who are part of the session, just enjoy, be part of the session and participate. Forget about others who are not part of the session. It was already a first come first basis session that I was taking. Fine, so we will move next. And now this is how your question will look to the student. Now I add new. I'm adding the next question. Now I want to add a text-based question. So over here it is, explain your experience. or share your experience. Supposingly, share your experience. So it's actually auto correcting me also. So that's a good thing. Experience. Okay. Yeah. So now I can share my experience and you have to write an answer over here. You can also give a correct answer if you want your students to know that this could have been the possible answer to the same question. Plus, you can also do one more thing. I will show you one more thing right now, and it is subtitle. This is subtitle. So now, supposingly you are giving an English prompt, and the prompt is share your favorite memory. Now with that, you want to share, like over here, share your experience. I want to give you an option that write in 100 to 150 words. So I want to give some instructions also with this. So I can mention them in the subtitle option that it is providing me, right? So you go here, again, I will show you how do you find the subtitle option. You go over here and you can actually click on the subtitle option and you get this option over here. So this is a very easy way in order to get your question paper made. I will try one more question in a different context. For instance, this is one of my favorite thing. Yeah, we can add sections over here. So for instance, the first section you want to keep more of a multiple choice question. And in the second section, you want to talk about true or false. Simple, like we do in a school exam. So this is my first section. Now, I want to go ahead and make a question of rating over here. That rate your experience. Right? And I can give this option of stars. I can have levels of 5. I can increase these levels in rating of 1 to 5. I can also have a number. I can do both. And I can also make it a required section. Now, after that, maybe I want to go ahead and I want to add one more section. For instance, I want to add a section of, let us have a short answer questions. The way your school exams are designed. You can go ahead and design this session. Okay, fine. So you can add, just a second. Yeah, so you have this option of short answer questions. So you can go ahead and design your session in a way that you have all the short answer questions part of the sessions. And now you can write a text-based question which students have to write. Now you see this option over here, long answer. Please understand that Microsoft will give you an option of text-based question. If you don't click this option, students will be limited to a particular word limit. So they cannot write all the answers over here. In order to make sure that you are also allowing them to write the elaborated version, you have to click it as long answer. Only then they can write it, this option. Now we move ahead and we will try one more type. And this is one of my favorite. Yeah. So we have certain questions, especially if you remember that in case of AIMS exams, this used to come statement-based questions are there, and you have more than one options to it. And or maybe I have a question in which I want my students to set the sequence, sequence A, B, C. I want them to rearrange something. Now, at times you get this option to move in this way. Now what I can do is I can just write over here A, I'm just being fast, and B, right? So this is my question which I have created. Now my students have an option of making it as an option 1, option 2, option 3. Now there can be a question in the rating of priority, what will come first, what will come second, what will come third, what will come fourth. So they have to tell the complete series. For instance, there's a question of digestive system. Tell the sequence. So what will be first? Mouth, then we have esophagus, then we have stomach, and then we have intestine. So you can mention the points over here in statements, and they have to mention it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have to do the ordering over here. So this again can be a very good way to ask them questions in this case. Now we go ahead. Okay. Now we have done this thing. Then we have one more part of Microsoft Forms, and then I want to finish Microsoft Forms, and I want to enter into my next section. So yeah, this is something Microsoft Forms allow you. Now I will show you certain things more. For instance, if you see over here, okay, we have a question. Can we make subjective test 2 using forms? If yes, then how will be checked by software? Now, if you can make subjective test, yes, and you can give an approximate answer to it, but in that case, the software will be very strict and it will mark all the answers wrong. So I will never suggest you to actually pre-mark an answer in case of subjective test. You can go for this option of text-based question, and you can prepare a test over here. But please do not pre-mark all the answers in this case, as there's a high tendency that students will lose marks in that case. So you have to take the pain and you have to create this test for yourself. Fine. So let me go ahead and now let me show you. You can see over here on my screen, there's an option of theme. I can mark my themes over here. So I can choose my particular theme. Now, if you are a school and you want your school logo to come somewhere, you can actually do that also. You have to create your own theme and maybe you can upload it. If you preview this test will look like this. So this is the preview of the test. This is how it will look on a computer, and this is how this test will look on a mobile. So you have both the options. You can actually see how the test will look on a mobile and on a computer screen. Now, this is a preview, and let us go back and understand that how we will use this test. We have 2 more questions. Sound is not coming. Others can listen it. So please make sure that you set your own earphones. Okay, fine. So now we have, yeah. So now once you have created this test, how do you share it or how do you send it? That is an important part. It's important you understand this thing. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me copy and share this thing in chat with everybody. If you can actually attempt the questions, just write some random answers. You don't have to do the correct answer. I'm sharing this, I've copied this link and I'm sharing it with you in the chat section, all of you. And I want you to copy it. You have to copy it from the chat section and open it in your browser and take this test. Please go ahead and do it. Kindly copy this link. I've shared a link with everyone. Just copy this link. Okay, somebody is saying you cannot follow this part. I've shared this link in the browser. Okay, let me send it again. Everyone in meeting. Okay, I'm sending it again. So you've received this link. Now I want you to go ahead and attempt this paper. How you will do it? You have to, because Zoom does not allow me to send a complete file, so I have to do it in this way. What you have to do is you have to copy this link and open this link in your browser. Please go ahead and open this link in your browser. Once you open this in your browser, attempt this paper. Why I'm asking you to attempt is I will actually show you how responses will change. So we can actually see your response over here. Don't worry about yes, no, mark any answers. You can. For instance, I will show you how. I will open this. I will just copy paste this link over here, the one I've shared with you, and this will open up for me. So this is a test. Now, are you enjoying the session? Yes. Share your experience. I will just write wonderful. Next. Radio experience 5. Next. I can just write anything. Very nice. Or option 1 and then option 3. I'm doing just random answers just in order to let you know how it has gone. Now my students will get this view results option. So my students have got this view response. I marked the correct option only for the first question. Yeah, I have a question. Okay, where is your browser? So browser is your Google. So you just open one more tab in your Google or Safari, whatever you are using. That's basically a browser. So this is like, if you can see, I'm not sure if Zoom is allowing you to see the top tab of my browser. I'm using it in MacBook right now. Yeah. So those who have done, I'm getting some responses. If you have done, please message me. I will get to know. Yeah, I have 14 responses. Now this is wonderful. Now I've received 14 responses. Let me show you this paper. Now this is the most beautiful part of this response chain. Others can stop attempting it and focus on the screen because we already have a lot many answers now. So 37 people have actually done this test and they took almost 0.54 on an average time to do it, and the status is active. I can get this result on an Excel. I will show you how. Then we have, okay, see, are you enjoying the session? So 40% said yes, and one person said want to. So thank God nobody said no, because it is a public platform now, and would have been embarrassment for me. Share your experience. So I have got answers like informative enough, wonderful, it is really informative. So I'm getting this answer. Radio experience on an average 4.53, we are getting it. And so this is how all your questions will appear. So as a teacher, you will have the most wonderful evaluation of questions. See, what used to happen in past is, you have 20 students in class, you take a test, you check them on individual basis. Now this software will give you an opportunity to check all the students at the same time, that how they have responded. Now not just this, you can review the answers. So when I click on review the answers, I reach here. Now I can see the questions, I can see the people, I can actually click, it's coming as respondent 1, respondent 2. In your case, you can ask students to write their name. So on the top of the question paper, we can actually ask them to write their name and their roll number so that there's no confusion. So you go to respondent 1 was me. So I did this question. So my teacher knows that how I have attempted the paper, and my teacher can actually judge me based on each and every question. Now, the teacher can also judge the whole class based on the question. For example, you have given 10 questions and there are 7 students who have attempted that question, same question wrong. So there was question number 5, which almost 7 students attempted wrong. Now you have this opportunity to actually discuss the same question in class. So instead of discussing the whole paper, you just go ahead and discuss one paper or one question with them. So this is the reason that we always promote the online assessment. Yes, you can get, I have questions, so I will just finish. Can I get the name of students? Yes, you can get it. So you have to make a column of name in the beginning so that students can write their name and also their roll number. Please explain, ma'am, how to see responses of children. Yes, I can do that. Okay, fine. So I have a question on how to see responses. Let me show it again. So this nothing, you have this weekly assessment, you go back and you go back to responses and you clear it and you see all the responses over here. So this will happen for each and every paper. So this is one paper. Now as a teacher, if you are having almost, if you can imagine, if you're taking 4 batches and you're taking tests for every batch, then you will have this question for paper for every batch. Now this is the limitation of Microsoft Forms. Now I will come to the limitation of Microsoft Forms, that Microsoft Forms does not allow you to make folders. It allows you to so when you go to Microsoft Forms, I will show you my homepage. You can see that papers are kept in this way. So we have so many questions, but they are kept in this way. There is no proper system of putting them in a folder from where you can actually get them. And that is the reason that I always appreciate Google Forms. For this one basic reason, Google Forms becomes more comfortable as you have Google Classroom, which allows you to arrange everything in a very nice way, free of cost. Fine. So now, ma'am, can we use only Microsoft Form rather than the complete package? Yes, you can use only Microsoft Forms and you don't have to use the complete package. I was using Microsoft Forms even when I was not using Microsoft resources. Fine. So now we have this assessment. I have to tell you one more thing and then I want to shift to the Google Form thing. Let me get back to my form. Yeah. So now please see this thing carefully, the send option. So you have to remember that whenever you are actually creating a form, how do you share it? You go to the send option, and in send option, you have this option of a link. You copy this link and you can actually copy and paste this link to your students' dashboard or maybe in WhatsApp group. You can go ahead and share it. Now, there is also an option, supposingly I am the administrator or I am the principal of the school or I am the HOD of the department. Now the responsibility of the HOD is to create the term paper and give it to teachers, and teachers will further share it with students. So in that situation, it is a critical case. If you share this link, directly with the student, so the HOD will get all the responses. So now it becomes the responsibility of the HOD to go ahead and share all the responses with all the different teachers. But if you want that I create the form and someone else can use it and they should get the response, so please go ahead and get a duplicate link. Now this duplicate link is like a copy. When I share this duplicate link, and I've copied this duplicate link and I will open it over here, you will see it will show me an option of duplicate it. It is showing me an option of duplicate it. Now this duplicate it makes it easy for me. It's comparatively easier for you because now when you duplicate it, it will create a copy. You will see Science Weekly Assessment Electricity, a copy. So now you don't have to worry about sharing somebody who is, so if the teacher now sends this link to the students, the responses will come to that particular teacher only and not to the HOD. So there are two ways in which, one, the teacher can directly share the link, and the second in which they can actually share with the HOD and HOD can further share it. I don't want to go into more into elaborations because it will become boring for others then who are understanding it. Ma'am, the screen is not visible. Okay. Okay, so now somebody has a question how to use the Excel file. Yes, this is a good question. So let us come back over there, and here is the form. So this was the responses. You can see this option of open in Excel. You click on this Excel file. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but it has got downloaded over here. I'm opening this file. It's taking a while for me to open this file. Yeah. Okay. So now when I open this file, you can see that I have a complete list of the data of start time, when the test was started, when it got finished, who has done it, because you are not given your name, so it's anonymous. The email ID is not there, so I marked it anonymous in the beginning only. Then your name, the total points, feedback, are you enjoying, so you have given your feedbacks, and we have all the questions. So this is how you are able to create an Excel format. Now as a teacher, you don't even have to create a result by typing it or by writing it. You just create this form, share it with your students, or mark the answers prior to sharing it with your students. Now when you will get the result, you will get all the result together. You do your assessment and you share it with your principal, or you share it with the parents, with whosoever you want to share. So this Excel allows you to share it with anyone you want to. Right? So I hope I have cleared any doubts. I will just take 2 minutes more. If somebody has doubts with Microsoft Forms, please let me know. We can find how many questions not attempted by students. Yes, you will get the result of the questions not attempted. I would suggest you go ahead and create a form and share it with some friends, and you will get to know. Setting the questions only applicable for MCQ. No. You can have, yeah, setting the answer. Yes, setting the answer is applicable for everything other than the text box. So there is an option of short answer and long answer. In that case, I would suggest that do not pre-mark the answer. You can do in that case also, but don't do it. So also required ID with the Microsoft. No, they can actually attempt it otherwise also. Sitting the answer. So, okay, fine. So I will move ahead and upload answer in the form of attachment, particular for long answers. I have not done it to upload answers for long answers, but yes, you can copy paste the answer over here. And if you want that, chalo theek hai ki bachcho ka galat ho jata hai, but you want them to know the correct answer also. So what you can do is, you can always go ahead and you can copy paste the answer over there. Now somebody has shared how to create a score, and yes, this is a valid question. So you had an option over here. Just give me a second. Yeah, points. So over here, there's an option of points. So every question has an option of points. I can create as a score of 10. I can create as a score of 1. So I can just mark it over here. So now my question is of 1 mark. So it will come over here. So yes, you can score your answers. If you want to make a 100 marks paper, you can make 100 marks. So whatever marks you want to give to this question paper, you can go ahead and do it. Fine. So I've done, hopefully I'm done with all the questions for this Microsoft Forms. And now I will go ahead and take it to Google Forms. Fine. So we'll start with Google Forms now. I would love to start with an assessment that I've already created so that I'm not wasting much time sharing information with all of you. We are already at 7:40 and I was about to finish this session at 8. So we are already have crossed our time. Okay. Yeah. So we have this option of assessment. I'm so sorry. This was not my, this is a demo version which Google has created. This is not mine. Just give me a second. Let me go to my assessment. Yeah, so this is the assessment I've created. So I created, this is a recent test I was taking of my students, and this is a very basic test I was testing them on to check their skills. Okay. Now, this was a very basic question, basic paper that I was doing. So you can see, again, I have this option of creating these themes. I have this option of points. I have this option of responses. So Google Forms and your Microsoft Forms are almost similar in experience and in creating things. Okay, let me take you back to Microsoft Forms on one thing that I've missed. I'm so sorry. I'm shifting back, but yes, this is an important part. Now, for instance, you created these sections and there is a question you have marked in as question number 2, but you feel that I don't want to keep it as question number 2. I want to keep it as last question. You can easily move it. What you have to do is you just have to press this arrow. So now this question becomes the last question. So share your experience becomes question number 5 instead of question number 2. I want to make it his first question. I can just go ahead and drag it and make it into, turn it into the first question also. So this gives you a very beautiful experience. There was also one more thing I wanted to share with you. I don't want you to miss on that one. For instance, I'm doing a multiple choice question and I want to ask a question through a picture. Okay, so I go to the uploads. And on my desktop, I can see this option of pics for training. Okay. So yeah, so over here, I have this question of a DNA structure or any other question. Now, what you can do is you can take some pictures, and if you want to ask them question of A, B, C, D, mark the right option. You can upload a picture over here and you can write the respective question, name the structure, supposedly. So there's a teacher who's actually asking me a question that, ma'am, how I can create this form for my kindergarten students. So I would suggest that you go ahead and basically upload the shape of the letters. For instance, you have to teach them the shape of the letters. You can actually upload the picture of the letter over here and they can use it. And you can put a question over here, option number 1 or option number 2, and they have to make the right answer. So this is what you can do. So yeah, so there were 2 things I missed. So I've actually thought that let me tell you. Okay, I have 2 questions again. Just a second. I have 7 questions actually. Okay, how we can upload pics? I have already shown it. I'm unable to see. Only. No, you can shift the answers from first to last. You can shift the answers anywhere. You can make it at first, you can make it at second, you can make it at third. So you can shift the answers anywhere on the complete examination paper. Yes, you can use it for other subjects also other than English, but you should know how to type in that particular font, or you can copy paste things and it should allow you with all the fonts basically. So that's how you can do it. Or you can always take a screenshot of that particular image. For instance, what I do is I have this app which is known as Light Shot. I will show you. So I just use it. It allows me to take a screenshot and save it. So if in case you don't have, you cannot type an answer, you can take screenshots and you can upload pictures over there. At least you are doing something for the students in that case. Okay, let me get back to Google Forms now because we are already running a lot of my time. Okay. Just this. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. So we have this paper of personal narrative. What I'm doing right now is I will share it with you again. Please attempt this paper, and I'm asking this question. I'm adding, let me just, so now, right now I've clicked send from collect email address. Fine. Uh, Two, I'm not mentioning, and then I have this option of sharing a link with you. Fine. I can shorten the URL over here. So it becomes small, it becomes impressive to see. I copy it and I'm again sharing it in the chat section. So go ahead and attempt it. It will give you a better experience of how to use it. Don't worry about the answers if they're correct or not. I'm not judging you based on the answers you're giving right now. Okay. So I've shared it with you. Please go ahead. Okay, somebody's asking me what is the name of the app for screenshot. I'm using LightShot. It's available, it's free. You can go ahead and use it. Somebody has asked me that how do you get your images? Can we take it from one of our files? Yes, you can upload images from your files. Whenever I'm preparing a test, I go ahead and save my images before that. Or supposing I'm taking a test, I just keep on browsing on Google. I download a picture and then I upload that picture over there. Some people, some teachers also go ahead and actually take some pictures from NCRT text, or when we are aware that this picture can come as part of the exams, they are using it in that way. Okay, I'm expecting that you are taking this paper. Yes, I'm receiving these responses over here. You can see. I just wanted to show you the difference of the type of response that comes in Google Forms and that comes in Microsoft Forms. See, you have to understand this thing. I'm pretty sure you will not understand everything in the first attempt, especially for those who are using these platforms for the first time, and maybe others who are already using it. It's for them, it's just a participation and they are learning maybe something new. But for others, you just have to open it up and play around with it and create different type of taste. Once you go, it's almost like using your smartphone. You start using it, you will get to know how to use it. You don't have to worry about कि हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है या कैसे हो रहा है. Okay. So yes, I have received 7 responses. Please just mark answers whatever way you want to mark it. I just want to show you that because in this paper I have already marked the correct and the incorrect answer, and that's why I've asked you to actually take paper right now. Okay, somebody has asked me that as a science teacher, is it possible to add an image and let the student do label it? So you know what I do it in a way is I actually add an image, and before adding the image over there, I mark it as A, B, C, D. For instance, let me show you. Okay, let me take you to one part. So supposedly I have this screen. You can see. Okay, now I will. It's actually fine. Now I will show you what I do over here is I go to pictures. I have this word map. Now what I can do is I can just take my stylus pen. I don't want to use it. Just give me a second. Or yeah. So what I can do is I go here. I write over here A. Then maybe I can write over here B. And I'm writing over here C and over here T. I have this image, but you can get better images and whatever you want to do. Now what I do is I actually take a screenshot. Okay. Right. I will save this on my desktop, and now I will show you that how I'm about to use this image. Right. Let me get back to the Zoom part and then we will talk about this one also. Okay, so we have already received these 20 responses. Let me show you the response part first, and then I will also address this question that has been asked, that how to use images, right? So you can see we have over here summary, we have the questions, and I can also see the individual students. So now I have this response one. Some people have written their mail ID. So I also have your mail IDs now in that case. Now I have this questions part, personal narrative, then you have this email address, you have to share, then you have what is the point of view of a personal narrative. So these were the questions. Now if you see the responses, what is the point of view of a personal narrative? So it is first person. Now this has to be the correct answer, and when I go to the questions, I see that 16 responses are for first person and 3 people have said second person, and there is one person who has said third person. So I can understand that most of my students have understood this topic, but there are 2 or 3 students who have not understood this topic. So what will happen next is I will actually go and check these 4 responses. So there were like 4 people. Please don't blame me if I'm putting your names over here. Nobody knows you. But these 4 people have answered it wrong, for instance. So I can go back to these students, these 4 students, and tell them, when I'm taking my Zoom class or my Skype class or my Google class again, that dear, you have marked this answer wrong. The correct answer has to be this. Why did you thought so? So you get in depth into the child's thought process by using the technology that is there in our hand. Then, for instance, what is expected in the conclusion para, personal narrative? So this was the question. So you can mark more than 2 answers. So there were like 2 answers: lesson learned and theme. So there is only one person who, so we have 12 responses who have marked 1. Then we have one response over here. And then really we have somebody who has marked more than 1 answer. Now I have given this option, mark all the correct options, but still nobody has actually marked all the correct options. So what happens, you have to assure your students, you have to train your students that how you have to read the question properly. And this is how they will learn. So is this OneNote? No, this is not OneNote. OneNote training we will have next week. Is it useful for junior classes also? Yes, it is very much useful. Parents can easily do it in their phones, and students can attempt all the questions in their phone. Along with them, can long question the true false. Yes, Google Forms, you can give long questions, you can give true false, you can give fill in the blanks. You have to learn how to actually create those papers. If you want, I will share some sample papers on when I make this video, when I will post this video on my YouTube channel. I will share certain sample questions over there, sample papers over there, along with the video. You can go ahead and see those sample videos, and I will also share a form with you. So if you have any doubts, you can just write them on the video channel. I will keep on getting back to you with responses over there. So yes, so now we are done with this. Now let me help you out with creating of a paper. Now if you see, if I have to add one more question, let me go to a blank quiz. Now we'll create a Google form. So I go back, I create a new form. So there's an untitled form that I have. Now, what I can do is, somebody asked me that can we upload a picture? So yes, we can upload a picture. For instance, I'm uploading this picture from my desktop. I've just downloaded one picture by the name of word map. Let me see if I find it. Yes, it's here. Yeah, so it's uploading. So now you will see. Now I have a picture. Now what type of question I can ask? I can ask a question over here. Which of the following is Japan? Okay. So when I say this, it's a multiple choice question. Student can, and I write the option as A, B, C, D. So I can create a paper in this form there. I also have options over here. So Google Forms allows you to shuffle between short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, check boxes, now drop down. Now when I choose a drop down, Then we also have file upload. You can upload a file. You can have a linear scale like this. I have to label in between 1 to 5, which I'm not doing right now. Then I have multiple choice checkbox. So I cannot go into detail. I will create a separate video for Google Forms, and you can ask me questions over there because we are almost about to finish the session right now. So yes, it gives you an option of date. It gives you an option of time. Other than that, you have this add question option, import question. So if you are creating a new form and you want to import question from here to the other form, you can use this option. Now this is good part that it gives you an option of add title and description. And at times Microsoft Forms is a bit boring in that case. It gives you an option of adding a video. So if you want your students, now here is something for the kindergarten teachers. Now if you want your students to go ahead and actually watch a video and then answer questions. So you can you can upload a short video, maybe of yours or maybe of somebody else, and just share it with them. And then you have this option further of adding sections also. So yes, so Google Forms is also giving you many options. Why I like Google Forms is this. I like to train our teachers. Okay. Fine. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, let me get back to the responses and everything. Yes, so this is Google Form. I'm so sorry, I got confused with so many responses coming up. And it's like I'm doing multitasking right now, the way we are doing in classes also. I want to just finish up this session right now and tell you why I love this technological part is I have been an educator for past 11 to 12 years, and every time I have been assessing my students, it has just been on my personal judgment. So, but right now, there's an opportunity to actually judge them based on the skills they have gained. So if you are creating a mathematical paper and it has some 4 different type of questions, there has a question of trigonometry, there's a question of measurements, and there's a question from algebra, and you're creating a paper like this, and you get to know that most of the students are answering questions wrong from trigonometry. You get to know that trigonometry is a topic you have to repeat again with them. So this is giving me an opportunity to actually analyze my student individually and in group and as a class. And that's why this forms methodology is something we can use even post COVID-19. So when the lockdown is over, when we are back to normal life, this is one assessment way you can use that. So I hope most of you have gained whatever you were looking for from this session. I will share my contact details over here. If you like this session, I would love to have some feedback over there, which I can flaunt. And I can tell people that yes, I had a successful session. If you think that I need to improvise something, I will again love to have a feedback. I'm also planning some more sessions. So let me share my number again. 77745, and my email ID is sarora1206. If you are a school, you need some guidance to set all these papers, I can just help you out. I will show you a last thing, which is going to be part of my next session in the next week. I will take these Zoom sessions every Wednesday now. Yes, although our teachers are good session, somebody said that teachers are using Google Classroom. Yes, so I'm coming back to Google Classroom, which is my favorite in one way or the other. Let me show you Google Classroom, and then we are signing off for today. So this is an option of Google Classroom. Let me take you there. Just a second. Okay, yeah. So this is one class I've created, and I did it for my students. So if you see over here, I will show you my classwork. So on the left hand side, you can see I have created all the lessons. Lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. So I have these 12 lessons which I've already created for my students. And then in each lesson, I have this reading material. I have my video. I have my video for writing process. I have my video for personal narrative. I have my assignment or quiz for creating titles. And then I have a journal quiz for my students. I have this option that I can go ahead. So this was my assigned quiz already, which I've assigned to my students. And I'm waiting for them to finish it up and share it with me because I've assigned it today. So you can actually go ahead and create everything in Google Classroom for free completely. And this is the best type of lesson management you can have. So you get to maintain all the classes. When you go back over here, classes. So these are all the classes. So these are some sample classes I've created. I'm using a different account when it comes to teaching. So these are completely sample that I use with my teachers now and then. And you can use this Google Classroom to a great extent if you start understanding it. So you get an option of to join a class and create a class. So you don't need students' mail ID. You can just ask them to join class using a class code that you will share with them. So this was all for today's session. If you have any doubts, I'm open for a discussion. Just let me stop sharing. So I'm unmuting you for a while. Please go ahead and speak one by one. I'm always scared by when I have to unmute teachers. It's slightly scary for me.